What if I told you that the most advanced AI art today and some of the most difficult experimental films from the 1960s are basically the same thing? Sounds kind of nuts, right? Well, today we're going to uncover the hidden rule that connects them, a surprising thread that links the wild world of creative prompts straight back to avant-garde cinema.
Okay, so first, get this in your head. You've got this lone hero, Mr. Mustard, and he's in this massive observatory made from mountain rock and desert glass. His job? To defend all of Africa from some kind of cosmic invaders. I mean, it's epic, it's super detailed, and just bursting with imagination.
Or how about this one? There's this humanoid robot at a film festival, and it suddenly gets hit with this wave of human emotion from the crowd, all their nostalgia and warmth, and it totally freaks out. It runs up a staircase, chasing this echo of a dream. Again, really complex, really high-concept stuff.
And then there's this. Andy Warhol's 1964 film Empire. It's 8 hours long, it's silent, and it's one single unmoving shot of the Empire State Building. That's it. No story, no actors, no cuts. Warhol's reason for it was, and I quote, he just wanted to see time go by.
So what on earth could possibly connect those incredibly creative sci-fi worlds with a film that's famous for being, let's be honest, painfully boring? They seem like complete opposites, and yet, I promise you, a single hidden rule is the engine behind all of them. So, let's find it.
To find that connection, we've got to hop in a time machine and head back to the 1960s, to an art movement called structural film. Because this is where we find the key. It's this radical idea that a single, powerful instruction is really all you need to create an entire universe of art.
See, these filmmakers, they weren't all that interested in telling stories with heroes and villains. They were obsessed with film itself, like the nuts and bolts of it. For them, the real art wasn't the final movie, it was the process, the system they designed before they even started rolling the camera.
So here's the most important point. For these artists, the creativity wasn't really in the final product. It was all packed into that initial instruction. The entire experience, whether it lasted 8 hours or just 3 minutes, was controlled by one simple, unbending rule.
Take Michael Snow's film Wavelength. The instruction couldn't be simpler, a 45-minute, non-stop zoom across a room. But in the middle of this, some real drama happens. A guy literally collapses and dies on the floor. The camera, though, it could not care less. It completely ignores the body, because its only rule, its one and only instruction, is to keep zooming toward a photo on the wall. The machine's mission just steamrolls the human story.
Or check out Joyce Wieland's Sailboat, where the rule creates this really beautiful tension. The instruction is to keep the single, unchanging word sailboat on the screen the entire time. But behind that static word, the images are constantly changing. We see all these different sailboats drifting by. It's this cool poetic conflict between the general idea of a thing and all its real-world variations.
And this idea gets even more intense with Hollis Frampton's Zorn's Lemma. The rule here is an entire system. The film starts with the 24 letters of the alphabet. And then, for 45 minutes, each letter gets systematically replaced by a short moving image. What you're literally watching is the organized, logical system of language being wiped out and eaten by pure cinema. The instruction is the entire journey.
Okay, so what does some obscure art movement from the 60s have to do with us today? Well, turns out everything. This old strategy, this creative instruction, it's been reborn. It's actually the driving force behind the most cutting-edge digital and AI art that's being made right now.
So let's go all the way back to those opening scenes, our interstellar guardian and that telepathic robot. But let's look at them differently this time. Let's try to stop seeing them as stories and start seeing them for what they actually are, an incredibly sophisticated set of rules.
When you break down that prompt for the Mr. Mustard scene, you see it's not really a narrative. It's a list of instructions. Every single component, the location, the character, the conflict, the action, is a very specific rule given to a creative engine. And it doesn't matter if that engine is a person or an AI.
And there it is. That's the core connection. A modern creative prompt is just the next step in the evolution of a structural film's central instruction. It's the same exact artistic strategy. You define a system, and you let that system generate the work. It's just been amplified with an incredible amount of detail and complexity.
This quote from the telepathic robot prompt really shows you how specific these instructions can get. The rule isn't the robot communicates. No, it's the robot communicates with synchronized light to create luminescent silence.
Just like a structural film, it's all designed to generate a very specific sensory experience, and it's all dictated by that initial rule.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It means we can look at this whole history, from Warhol all the way to AI, as a story about creativity through constraint. The real art, the true spark of genius, is so often found in the elegance and the power of that very first instruction. So why does any of this matter? Well, a couple of reasons. One, it shifts our focus on creativity away from the artist's hand and puts it on the artist's mind. Two, it shows how a single, powerful instruction can create almost infinite complexity. And three, which is maybe the most important part, in this age of AI tools, the prompt itself, the rule, is becoming its own art form, just as important as the final image.
So in the end, it all just boils down to the power of one single idea. Whether it's a dead simple rule like a 45-minute zoom or an incredibly complex prompt that builds a whole sci-fi universe, the creative principle is exactly the same. The instruction is everything.
And this all leaves us with a pretty fascinating question for the future, right? When the instruction itself is so powerful that it basically creates the art all on its own, who's the real artist? The person who wrote the rule or the machine that followed it?